The great hall of the Zarnathi Empire was silent. The floor, made of dark crystal, reflected the glowing eyes of hundreds of alien leaders. They stood still as the emperor of the empire walked toward the center. His robe shimmered like oil in light, his face hard as stone. A large screen behind him showed a single blue planet Earth. They had a choice, the emperor said, voice deep and sharp. We offered them alliance, they refused. One of his advisors, a thin alien with silver skin, stepped forward. Perhaps. They didn't understand. They understood, the emperor snapped. They were given the terms. Bow before the empire or be broken by it. There were no cheers, no applause. Only a quiet fear in the room. Another screen came to life. It showed a transmission from Earth, static flickering, then clear. A human appeared. Middle-aged, serious, calm. To the empire, the man said, your offer is rejected. You want our freedom. You'll get our answer. And then the screen went black. In the outer sectors of the galaxy, Zarnathi warships began to move. Giant fleets lit up the stars. Their weapons glowed red with heat. Their engines hummed like thunder. Send the first blade, the emperor commanded. I want Earth shattered in hours. The first blade was a massive dreadnought, 5 miles long. It had never lost a battle. No shield had ever stopped its main weapon. Inside the ship, Commander Uruk smiled. Primitive planet, he said, looking at the Earth on the screen. This won't take long. As the dreadnought neared the solar system, it detected a human signal, weak, faint. Pick it up, Uruk said. The message was short. Only 4 words. You shouldn't have come. The crew laughed. But then, the ship's lights flickered. The main weapon system shut down. Control panels sparked. Uruk screamed at the engineers. What's happening? Before they could answer, something hit them. No warning. No missile. Just silence. Outside, from nowhere, a beam of blue light sliced through the dreadnought. In seconds, the entire ship was gone. Dust. Back on the Empire's capital world. Panic spread. The Emperor stared at the report. They destroyed the first blade? With what? No one had answers. We didn't even see the weapon, said the lead strategist. There was no energy signature, no ship nearby, nothing. The Emperor's hands tightened into fists. Send 5 fleets, now. Across Earth, people watched the skies. They had known this day would come. Inside a secret base under Antarctica, leaders from every nation stood together. Are the countermeasures ready? Asked one woman in a black uniform. Yes, said a scientist. Project Echo is online. All eyes are on Earth now. A large screen showed the enemy fleets moving in fast. Activate Echo, the woman said. In deep space. Just before the enemy fleets reached Earth, they stopped, completely. The Zarnathi ships floated, dead in space. No power. No life signs. Then, one by one, they started turning away from Earth. Not destroyed. Taken. Something had hijacked them. The Empire's sensors picked up the message again. This time, it came from their own ships. You declared total war. We accepted. The Empire's outer colonies began to go dark. No signs of battle. Just silence. World after world disappeared from contact. The Emperor sat alone in his dark chamber, listening to reports. They've hacked our systems. They're using our own technology against us. Our ships now answer to Earth. Our people are surrendering. Without a fight, the Emperor whispered. What are they? No one answered. On Earth, the woman in black uniform walked down a corridor where no guards stood. At the end, a large steel door opened. Inside, there was a figure in a chair. A man. Wires connected him to machines humming softly. She spoke gently. You did well. The signal is spreading. They never expected a psychic weapon. The man didn't look up. They still don't understand. This wasn't about war. It was about warning them. She nodded. What happens now? He looked at her finally. Eyes glowing faintly. Now we change everything. In a council room on the Empire's core world, generals shouted at each other. We must strike again. With what? They took our fleets. One of them screamed, then we go to Earth ourselves. The room went quiet. A low voice spoke from a corner. Do you really want to see what else they've hidden? That night, across the stars, the Empire did something it had never done before. It paused. The stars were quiet as the Zarnathi's Second Fleet moved through space. Over 200 warships, led by the dreadnought Claw of Fire, were heading straight for Earth. Their goal was simple: destroy everything. Commander Dravak, a tall and proud Zarnathi with black scales and red eyes, stood on the bridge. He smiled as Earth's blue dot appeared on the screen. They fear us now, he said. We gave them a warning. Now we finish it. His second-in-command, Vulik, spoke calmly. We haven't heard anything from the First Fleet, sir. Still no response. They were fools, Dravak snapped. They underestimated the humans. I won't make that mistake. The fleet moved into formation. Ships lined up like blades. Across the stars, every weapon was charged. The sky was ready to burn. On Earth, deep inside a hidden mountain base, alarms started flashing. Red lights, urgent signals. Enemy ships were detected entering the system. They're here, said Captain Ellen Ward. She stood in front of a large screen showing the incoming fleet. Beside her, a scientist named Lynn tapped quickly on a control. Panel, 212 ships. Largest dreadnought ever recorded is leading them. Ellen gave a small nod. It begins now. Do we have confirmation? Lynn's voice was steady. Echo is in position. But we need one more signal before it activates. Ellen looked at the screen. Then she pressed a button and sent out a short message. We see you. Aboard the Claw of Fire, Dravak heard the message. He laughed. They see us? Good. Let them watch. Vulik looked nervous. Sir, I still suggest caution. We don't know what destroyed the First Fleet. Dravak waved him off. There's no sign of human ships. No planetary defenses. We're wasting time. He turned to the weapons officer. Target their major cities. Fire on my command. Back on Earth, Lynn's console lit up. They've locked weapons. Echo is green. Awaiting final trigger. Ellen spoke softly. Time to show them we're not afraid. She reached for a second button marked with a glowing symbol. She pressed it. In space, something changed. The Zarnathi fleet sensors started going wild. Double quote, sir. Vulik said quickly. I'm seeing distortion ahead. Something is moving. Fast. I don't know what it is. Dravak frowned. Show me. Blurry shape appeared on the screen. One. Ship. Small. Human. It moved faster than anything they had ever seen. It's just one vessel, Dravak growled. Destroy it. The fleet's weapons locked on the ship. They fired. Missiles. Beams. Explosives. But none of them hit. The human ship danced through the fire. Untouched. Then, without warning, it vanished from their scanners. Where did it go? Shouted Dravak. An alarm screamed. The ship had reappeared behind them. Then everything went wrong. The Claw of Fire shook violently. A massive hole opened in its side. No explosion, just matter being cut away like paper. Damage report, yelled Vulik. But there was no time. Another ship exploded. Then another. The human vessel was moving in ways they couldn't follow, turning, disappearing, reappearing, slicing. Through their strongest armor. Commander Dravak stared in horror. This isn't possible, he whispered. His fleet was falling apart. No enemy army. No large invasion. Just one ship. It wasn't using missiles or lasers. It used energy that didn't register on their systems. It didn't fight like any enemy they had faced. It was surgical, silent, cold. In the command room on Earth, Ellen and Lynn watched the feed. Lynn whispered, Echo 1 is outperforming all expectations. Ellen didn't smile. Her voice was calm but firm. They declared total war. Now they'll learn what total really means. In space, only 30 ships remained. The rest had been destroyed or disabled. Panic spread. Dravak's voice shook. Retreat. Get us out of here. But it was too late. The human ship sent out a wave, not a blast, but a signal. And suddenly, half of the remaining ships shut down. No power. No control. Just silence. Vulik stared at the dark control panels. They've hacked our cores. How? Dravak slammed his fists against the wall. This is not war. This is something else. His ship drifted in space. Dead and cold. Then the screen lit up. The human ship appeared. Up. Voice came through. Human male, calm. You came with fire. We came with silence. Tell your empire, Earth does not break. Then the screen turned black. The broken survivors of the Zarnathi fleet returned to the Empire. When the Emperor heard what had happened, he stood in silence, the first. Strike has failed, he said. One general asked, how many ships did Earth send? The reply came from a young soldier, voice shaking. Only one. Sir, far away, in the quiet of space, the human ship disappeared again. No name, no trace. Just a message left behind, floating near the wreckage. More will come. We will be ready. Inside the great war hall of the Zarnathi Empire, voices echoed in panic. They lost 2 fleets. To 1 ship? That's impossible. The Emperor raised a clawed hand. Silence returned. We have ruled the stars for centuries, he said. No race has ever done this to us. A new advisor stepped forward. His name was Koro, a young intelligence officer. He placed a file on the center table. We found something, he said. Something about Earth. Everyone leaned in. There's no record of the weapon they used. Koro continued. It doesn't match known tech. It doesn't emit regular energy. It's like it exists and doesn't, like it breaks the rules of reality. The general scoffed. Magic. Koro looked serious. No, but it might as well be. Far away, on Earth, deep under a desert mountain, a group of people stood around a glowing sphere. It pulsed softly, alive. General Ellen Ward watched it closely. How long until it's ready? She asked. A man with tired eyes and silver hair replied. We don't control it. It controls us now. Ellen frowned. I need something better than that, Doctor. The man turned to her slowly. This isn't a weapon you point and shoot. It's a mind. A memory. A machine older than any of us. We didn't build it, we found it. Ellen said nothing. She already knew this part of the story. But others in the room didn, single quotes T. So the doctor spoke again. It was discovered 20 years ago. In deep space, beyond Pluto. A black object floating where nothing should be. And you brought it here? Asked a young officer. We didn't. It came on its own. Back in the Zarnathi Empire, Koro stood before the High Council with a stolen recording. It showed a human research station. The footage was grainy, taken by a hidden drone. On the screen, a large black object floated inside a chamber. It didn't move, didn't shine, didn't make a sound. But even through the recording, something about it felt wrong. What is that? A general asked. Koro said one word, artifact. The room grew cold. The humans found it, he continued. But they didn't hide it. They studied it, let it inside their systems, and now it protects them. One voice in the back whispered, You mean it's alive? Koro didn't answer. Instead, he pressed another button. The screen showed the artifact glowing. People were around it, but they weren't afraid. They seemed connected. Dr. Wren looked up at the artifact. It doesn't speak in words, he said quietly. It speaks in thought. Ellen crossed her arms. And what does it want? He smiled sadly. To survive, just like us. But it doesn't like war. That's why it fights in silence. It sees war as a disease. She looked at the artifact again. It pulsed once, then paused. You said it connects to our systems, she asked. How far does it reach? Ren replied, it doesn't connect to systems, it connects to people. On a secret ship orbiting Jupiter, a man sat alone. Wires ran from his arms to the walls. His eyes were closed. But his mind was somewhere else. This man, pilot of Echo 1, was not just flying. He was linked. His mind touched the artifact, and through it, he saw the universe differently. No stars. No weapons. Only paths, openings, weaknesses. He didn't destroy ships. He undid them. He didn't kill. He removed the idea of resistance. He was no longer just human. The Empire couldn't understand. They sent probes, spies, codebreakers. None. Returned. One day, Koro rushed into the war chamber, holding a small device. It spoke to us, he said, breathing hard. The general stood. What do you mean? I was studying an old human satellite, Koro said. It suddenly came online. It sent a message. He played it. A voice spoke, calm, human. You seek answers to weapons, but we no longer build them. We build understanding. It is more dangerous than any gun. The voice faded. The Emperor's eyes narrowed. They are mocking us. No, said Koro. They are warning us. In the desert base, Ellen stood next to the artifact again. It's growing, Ren said. Not in size, in reach, Ellen asked. How far now? Beyond our system. It touched a planet near Zarnathi. Space last night. It turned off their entire defense grid. Ellen was silent. Then she asked, are we sure it's still on our side? Ren hesitated. It's not about sides, it's about balance. We help it, it helps us. And if we stop helping, then it leaves. The Zarnathi gathered their remaining fleets. They prepared a final attack. Koro begged the Emperor to wait. We don't know what we're facing. Please, delay the strike. The Emperor roared. If we delay any longer, we won't have an empire left to save. The fleets launched. 3 hours into the journey, their ships stopped moving. One by one, they shut down. No explosions. No noise. Just sleep. Across the fleet, the lights dimmed. And then, every screen lit up with a human face. The pilot of Echo 1. His voice was soft. You don't have to fight us. We don't want your systems. We want your silence. The screens went dark. On Earth, Ellen received the report. Ren looked at her. He did it again, she sighed. How long can one man hold this kind of power? Ren didn't answer. Instead, he looked at the artifact, which now pulsed brighter than ever. It's not just him anymore, he said. It's all of us. In the Empire's council hall, the Emperor sat still. His empire was not destroyed by weapons. It was stopped by something. Unknown. Something he could never understand. Not a bomb, not a fleet, a connection. And now he realized. Something terrible. He had declared war. But humanity had never truly joined it. They had simply ended it, before it ever began. The Zarnathi colony world of Vuruk 7 was quiet. Too quiet. Captain Sharvik stood at the center of the military command base, staring at the screen in disbelief. All signals from the outer defense posts had gone dark. No alarms, no explosions. No warning. Just silence. Are they under attack? Asked one of his officers. Sharvik shook his head. If they were, we'd see it. There are no ships, no energy spikes. It's like they simply disappeared. He tapped into the surveillance feeds. Static, then black. How many outposts are down? 17, replied the officer. In less than 3 hours, Sharvik turned slowly, eyes cold. Sound the emergency code. Lock down the capital. I want drones in the air now. High above the planet, Zarnathi drones buzzed across the sky. They scanned every inch but found nothing. No ships. No enemy. No trace of a fight. And yet, things were missing. An entire weapons facility was gone. Buildings, tools, even guards. The walls were still standing, but hollow, empty. Inside one control tower, a message had been carved into the metal floor. "We were here." Sharvik stared at it through the screen. His voice was low and tense. This wasn't an attack, he sighed. It was a message. On Earth, in a dark underground chamber, General Ellen Ward stood before a row of black capsules. They looked like empty pods, but each one hummed quietly with hidden life. Behind her, a technician spoke. "Deployment to Vuruk 7 complete. No losses, all units have returned." Ellen nodded. Were they seen? Not once. "Mission confirmed, full erasure." She stared at the pods. "Good. Next colony?" The technician tapped his console. Kezer 3. 100,000 enemy population. Medium-level defense. Proceed. The unseen army was not made of soldiers. It was made of machines. Tanks. Not ships. But small, fast, silent drones the size of a hand. They traveled through the folds of space. Unseen by any radar, they passed through walls. They turned weapons to dust, and they never fired a shot. Back on Vuruk 7, the panic began. Whole neighborhoods were emptied overnight, houses untouched. Doors open, lights still on, but no people. Sharvik ordered all civilians into bunkers. Guards were doubled. He walked the city streets, his eyes sharp, his heart racing. Then he heard it, a faint buzzing sound, like a whisper in the air. He turned. Nothing. Who's there? He shouted. Silence. He raised his weapon. Then just for a second, he saw it. A shape moving in the shadow. Small, fast. Then gone. That night, the capital's main power core exploded. Not with fire, but with light. Every screen in the city blinked once, then showed the same message. You cannot fight what you cannot see. The Zarnathi Empire called an emergency meeting. The Emperor, tired and angry, slammed his hand on the table. "We are being invaded, but we see no ships." An old general spoke. "It's not an invasion, it's a purge." Another officer added. "They are not taking our territory. They are erasing our ability to fight." Koro, the young intelligence agent, spoke last. "We're not dealing with soldiers. We're dealing with something else. An army that never stands, never shoots, and never speaks." The room was silent. Then the Emperor said coldly, "Find them. Bring me one of these machines. I want to tear it apart myself." On Kezer 3, the second colony targeted. The same pattern happened. Military bases shut down in silence. Ships vanished from hangars. Tactical A is failed. And this time, there was one witness. A young technician, hiding inside a supply cabinet, saw them. Tiny machines, black and fast. They floated through the walls, scanning everything. One hovered near him. He held his breath, then it moved away. Later, when rescue teams found him, he was shaking. "They didn't kill me," he whispered. "They just ignored me." Earth's artifact watched it all, the glowing sphere in the underground. Base pulsed faster each time the drones returned. Dr. Wren stood by, monitoring its rhythms. "It learns," he said to Ellen. "Every time we send them, it adapts. It's not just deleting their systems, it's understanding them." Ellen crossed her arms. "And what happens when it understands us too well?" Wren gave a tired smile. "Then we hope it still needs us." In desperation, the Empire launched a trap. They leaked false data, a new weapons cache on a remote colony. Fully powered, unguarded. Sharvik was placed on the ground with a full team, waiting. The drones came. At first, they appeared like before, fast, silent, deadly. But then the trap closed. An EMP pulse fired across the area. Energy wave. Massive shock. Dozens of drones dropped to the ground, lifeless. Sharvik rushed forward. "Get me one intact." He shouted. They picked up the pieces. For the first time, they had one. Back at the Empire's Science Division, The drone was placed. Under examination, the room was sealed. Guards stood ready. Cora watched from the side, nervous. "It's inactive," said one scientist. "Dead metal." Then the drone's eye lit up. Everyone froze. The room turned red. The drone floated into the air slowly, calmly. And then it spoke. Not in voice. In thought. "You were warned." The drone exploded not with fire, but with silence. Every machine in the building died instantly. Files, lights, security systems, all gone. That night, across the Empire's colonies, a new message appeared in the sky. Glowing letters, floating. Above every capital: "We do not conquer, we correct." The unseen army had no face. No home. No mercy. And the galaxy began to understand something terrifying. Humanity had not just made a new weapon. They had released a force that didn't fight to win. It fought to erase the idea of war itself. Rovell had been trained to stay calm. He could steal secrets. He could lie with a smile. He had lived on 100 enemy worlds. But now, as he sat in a dark room deep inside the Zarnathi Imperial Command, he was shaking. "I told you," he whispered. Eyes wide, voice cracking. "I told you not to push them." The generals watched him in silence. Behind them, the Emperor stood tall, his arms folded. "Explain again," the Emperor said slowly. "Tell us what you saw." Rovell looked up, sweat on his scaled forehead. His voice was quiet, afraid. "I lived among them for 3 Earth years. I became one of them. I worked in their labs. I walked their cities. I ate their food." He paused, breathing hard. "They are not like us. They don't think in straight lines." One general scoffed. "They're just humans, weak, emotional." "No." Rovell snapped. "That's what I thought too. But I was wrong." 3 years ago, Rovell had arrived on Earth disguised as a human researcher. His appearance was perfect: short brown hair, pale skin, calm eyes. He had a new name, Marcus Ray. He worked at a tech lab in New Lisbon, a city rebuilt after Earth's last war. At first, everything seemed normal. People laughed, argued, lived simple lives. But slowly, Rovell noticed strange things. Too many buildings had hidden scanners. Too many people asked deep questions. Too many children played games that trained them for something more. And then there were the dreams. Rovell started having strange dreams after 6 weeks. He saw shapes floating, shifting. He heard whispers. He thought it was stress. Until one day, a man at the lab looked at him and said, "You're not from here, are you?" Rovell froze. "What do you mean?" The man smiled kindly. "Your thoughts don't move the same way. Don't worry, we understand." That night, Rovell packed his bags and ran. Back in the present, Rovell looked at the Emperor. "They knew I was a spy the whole time, but they let me stay." "Why?" the Emperor asked coldly. Rovell shook his head. "To learn. To show me something." He looked down, voice shaking again. "They showed me the room." The generals leaned forward. "What room?" Rovell whispered. "The one below the ocean." 2 years ago, during a research trip, Rovell had been taken to a secret facility deep under Earth's Pacific Ocean. No weapons, no guards. Just silence and machines. Thousands of them silent, blinking, watching. At the center was a woman, old, calm, surrounded by light. She spoke to him without sound. "You came to see how we fight," she said in his mind. "But we don't fight, not like you." He wanted to speak but couldn't. "We don't want war. We want evolution, change, peace with strength." She raised her hand, and in an instant, Rovell saw it all. He saw Earth's hidden network of MIND's humans linked by thought. He saw machines thinking faster than stars could form. He saw an army made of light and silence and memory. Then she said one last thing. "You will remember this when your empire forgets who we are." Rovell returned to the Empire, silent and broken. He tried to report what he saw, but no one listened. Finally, after the fall of Vuruk 7 and Kezer 3, they called him in, but it was too late. I begged you to listen, Roval whispered. But you kept pushing. You thought you were stronger. You thought they were small. A general slammed his fist on the table. You act like they're gods. No, Roval said. There's something worse. They're humans and they've stopped being afraid. Later that night, Koro found Roval sitting alone in a cold chamber. The spy looked older, tired, distant. You were right, Koro said softly. Roval didn't reply. They've started speaking through our satellites now. Koro continued. Not attacks, just messages, ideas. He placed a small screen in front of Roval. It read, "We were made for war. But now we make something better." Roval closed his eyes. I saw their future, he whispered. It doesn't include us. Somewhere, far across the stars, a human child sat inside a glowing classroom. Her teacher wasn't a person. It was the network, the artifact they hive mind. She was learning how to reshape metal using only thought. She smiled. Back in the Empire, Roval said one last thing before he was dismissed. If you send more fleets, they won't kill you. They'll erase the idea of you. But no one listened. Not yet, and that was their last mistake. The Imperial High Council chamber was in chaos. Shouts echoed against cold metal walls. Screens flashed with urgent warnings. But no one could stop the panic. General Tavrek slammed his fist on the table. They've destroyed the moon of Zerith. Without a single missile. His voice shook with anger and fear. How is that even possible? Another officer, pale and sweating, spoke quickly. Their technology is unlike anything we've ever seen. They don't fight like us. They move. Faster, smarter. The Emperor sat silently on his throne, eyes cold but tired. Send new orders, he said. We cannot lose control. But Your Majesty, said a young strategist nervously, our fleets are going dark. Our ships answer to Earth's commands. The Emperor's fist clenched. Is this some kind of trick? No, sire, said Koro, the intelligence officer. They have hacked us. They control our systems from inside. The room fell quiet. The only sound was the hum of failing machines. On a starship orbiting a broken planet, Commander Dravik stared at his control panel. Systems failing, shouted the technician beside him. Communications are down. Engines are offline. Dravik cursed under his breath. We should have never come here. Suddenly, the main screen lit up with a human face. Calm, confident, unafraid. You've lost, the voice said softly. This isn't war, it's the end of war. Dravik slammed his fist against the console. Cut the transmission, but the ship did not respond. Systems shut down one by one. Lights flickered, then went dark. Back at the Empire, the council grew desperate. We must strike again, shouted a general. Send everything we have. To Earth's surface. Too late, said Koro quietly. Their weapon is inside our minds now. A technician showed the council a strange image. It was a human pilot linked to a network of machines. His eyes glowed faintly. He controls thousands of ships with his thoughts. The Emperor stood. Then we end this now. I will command. The final attack myself. Hours later, the Emperor's fleet gathered near Earth. The stars around them burned bright with weapons fire. But then, something changed. One by one, the ships stopped. Their engines went silent. Their weapons went cold. The Emperor's flagship was the last to shut down. Inside the ship, panic spread. Officers shouted orders. Systems failed. The Emperor's voice shook. Find the source. Destroy it. But the ship could not move. The human pilot's voice came through the speakers again. You cannot win with force. The Emperor clenched his teeth. Then what do you want? We want peace. A new way. An end to your empire's cruelty. The Emperor looked around. His empire was falling apart. He was powerless. On Earth, General Ellen Ward watched the final moments unfold. She spoke softly to her team. This is not just a battle. It's a collapse of fear and hate. The glowing artifact pulsed steadily. Its light filled the room. Prepare for the next phase, she said. The Emperor sat alone in his dark chamber. The empire he built was crumbling. His commands were ignored. He whispered. We lost not to a weapon, but to an idea. And in the quiet of space, humanity waited. Not for victory, but for a new beginning. Dr. Celine Rayner stood alone in the neural lab, her hands trembling. The lights above her flickered as if the entire base could feel what was about to happen. They said this would never work, she whispered. Behind her, the glass chamber pulsed with dim blue light. Inside it was a young human soldier, Lucas. Wires ran into his head, arms, and spine. His eyes were closed. His breathing was slow. A voice came through the intercom. Selene, this is Commander Ward. Are you ready? To begin the mind shift? Selene hesitated. If this fails, he might never wake up. Commander Ward didn't reply right away. Then came the cold truth. If we don't try, no one survives. Begin the sequence. Selene turned to her assistant. Activate the link. A low hum filled the lab. Lucas's body tensed. The lights in the chamber turned red, then white. Across the stars on the planet Virex, Supreme Mind Kaloth stood at the edge of his council chamber. His long, thin fingers to tap the stone table nervously. Our scanners show unusual mental activity from Earth, said his advisor. They are trying something strange, Kaloth hissed. They are primitive. What can their minds do? The advisor showed a glowing sphere. They've started Mindshift, a full neural merge. A human is trying to connect with our thought net. Koloth's red eyes widened. They dare enter our shared mind? That is forbidden to their kind. The council buzzed with fear and confusion. One elder whispered, if they succeed, they will know everything, including how to stop us. Kaloth raised his hand. Then we must find this human and destroy him before the shift completes. Inside the chamber, Lucas opened his eyes. But he was not in the lab anymore. He stood in a glowing mental landscape, surrounded by floating shapes, distant stars, and voices that echoed with strange thoughts. It was the Virex ThoughtNet. He could feel the alien minds cold, organized and full of fear. He could hear them whispering, human ... intruder ... mistake ... double quote. Lucas looked at his hands. They shimmered like smoke. Where am I? Suddenly, a bright light flashed before him. A Virex guardian appeared. Its eyes glowed, and it spoke without moving its lips. You should not be here, human. Lucas stepped back. I don't want to fight. I need to know why you attacked Earth. You are beneath us. Your minds are too small for understanding. Lucas felt something stir inside his mind. Selene's voice. Lucas, listen to me. You're not alone. Use the memory thread. He focused. A pulse of energy shot from his chest, forming a silver thread that wrapped around the guardian. Images poured into the alien's mind. Earth's cities, children playing, families fleeing explosions. Then, silence, graves, smoke, death. The guardian shook, stunned. This is pain. I feel it. Lucas nodded. Now you understand. We didn't want this war. You gave us no choice. Back on Earth, Selene's eyes darted across monitors. He's making contact. He's showing them human emotion, empathy. Commander Ward stepped closer. What happens if they accept it? Selene didn't look away. Then they'll change. Forever. Inside the network, Kaloth appeared in the sky like a god. You dare corrupt my guardians with your feelings? He thundered. Lucas stood his ground. Your empire is built on control, fear. You don't understand what freedom feels like. I do not need to understand. I only need to erase you. Kaloth unleashed a blast of pure mental force. Lucas fell to one knee, his vision blurred. The network started to fade around him. Seleni's voice screamed in his mind, "Lucas, anchor to the core. Remember your humanity." Lucas reached into himself. He remembered his sister's laughter, his mother's warm hug, the promise he made to protect those who couldn't fight. He stood up, stronger. Kaloth roared, "What are you?" Lucas raised his hands, and the emotions inside him, hope, pain, love poured out into the network like fire. "I'm human," he said. "And you can't control that." The thought net shook. Cracks appeared in its structure. Vyrex's minds one by one began to shift. They felt everything. Back on Vyrex, the council fell into silence. "Something's changing," whispered an elder. "I can feel warmth, sadness, peace." Kaloth staggered backward, holding his head. "No, this isn't the way. We must control." But the others no longer listened. One by one, they stood and turned their backs to him. In the lab, Lucas's eyes fluttered open. He gasped for air. Selene ran to him. "Lucas, you did it." Commander Ward stared at the readings. "The thought net is collapsing. Their mental unity is gone." "They've started thinking for themselves," Selene said, smiling. "That's the mind shift." High above Earth, the alien ships stopped their attack. Engines powered down. Weapons retracted. Then in unison they turned and left. Lucas sat on the edge of the lab bed, breathing slow but steady. "I saw their minds," he whispered. "They were afraid, but not evil." Selene nodded. "And now they're changing. Because of you." Commander Ward looked out the window. "We didn't win with weapons," she said. "We won with thought." The stars above Earth were quiet. Too quiet. Had been 3 days since the alien fleet vanished, since the mindshift changed everything. Humanity held its breath. No attacks, no messages, no answers. Inside United Earth Command, a storm was growing. General Kara Voss stared at the holoscreen. "They're planning something. No one leaves a battlefield in silence." Commander Aiden paced behind her. "You think they're regrouping?" She nodded. "They're not gone. They're waiting." Just then, the room dimmed. A pulse shook the floor. Lights flickered. An officer shouted, "We're getting a signal. Deep space, unknown origin. It's massive." "Put it on screen," Kara ordered. The feed appeared. A giant black structure floated near Jupiter. It wasn't a ship. It was a gate. A wormhole gate. Aiden's face went pale. "That's not Vyrex tech." "No," Kara whispered. "It's older. Something else is coming." Lucas stood in the lab with Dr. Selene Rayner. He still hadn't recovered from the mind shift, but the nightmares had stopped. Selene looked up from the monitors. "You should sit." Lucas shook his head. "No time. What's going on?" She showed him the readings. "That gate out there, it's not just opening a path. It's breaking rules we don't understand." Lucas leaned in. "Rules? Physics, reality. We're picking up ghost signals from timelines that don't exist. It's like someone's trying to overwrite the universe." In the Vyrex capital, chaos reigned. The thought net had collapsed. Minds were now separate, confused. But some were waking up with knowledge they never had before. Supreme Mind Kaloth, stripped of power, sat in the ruins of his council chamber. A hooded figure approached him. "They called it the Unthinkable. You tried to hide it from us." Kaloth spat. "It was buried for a reason." The figure nodded. "But now it's awake." Back on Earth, the gate opened fully. From it came silence. No ships, no weapons. Just a ripple through space. And then, a voice, deep, mechanical, yet ancient. "Humanity, you have broken the balance. The mind shift has echoed. We are the architects, and you have awakened you." Kara and Aiden froze. Who are they talking to? Aiden asked. Kara turned slowly. "Us, all of us." The voice returned. You will surrender your world, or we will reset the thread. Selene gasped. Reset the thread? That means… Erase the timeline, Lucas whispered. They want to unmake us. A meeting was called. Earth's leaders, military minds, and scientists gathered underground. Kara stood at the front. We are facing something older than the Virex, older than recorded time. These architects claim to be reality's builders. Selene stepped forward. They think we changed too much when Lucas entered the ThoughtNet. We disrupted something big. Lucas nodded. Then we'll fix it. We'll talk to them. They're not here to talk, Kara said. They gave us one choice, surrender or be erased. Everyone fell silent. Until Lucas broke it. Then we give them a third choice. Using the Virex tech, Lucas connected again. This time not to minds but to dimensions. He traveled into the echo of the architect's space. It was empty, but powerful. Shapes floated in the dark. Symbols of time, thought, and matter. Then they appeared. Tall beings of light and dark, with no faces, only glowing eyes. One stepped forward. You are the anomaly. You carried emotion into unity. That is forbidden. Lucas stood tall. But it worked. We stopped a war. We made peace. Your kind was never meant to think that way. You were designed to fall. His voice cracked. You designed us to fail? All races are part of the design. Some rise, some fall. Humanity was meant to die here. He clenched his fists. Then why did you let us live this long? To prove your weakness, but you changed the path. Lucas took a deep breath. Then, rewrite the path. What? You say we broke the balance. But maybe your balance is the real mistake. Maybe unpredictability is the upgrade. The beings fell quiet. Lucas walked forward. We're not just cells. We're not just minds. We're something you didn't expect. That means your code is broken. Back in the lab, Selene screamed. His pulse is crashing. Kara shouted, Pull him out. No, Selene shook her head. If he breaks contact now, they might erase us anyway. Inside the architect's realm, the space shook. You speak of freedom, of error, of chaos. Lucas smiled. Exactly. That is the unthinkable. Maybe, Lucas said, but maybe the unthinkable is evolution. There was silence. Then light. Endless, blinding light. Suddenly, Earth's skies lit up with auroras. Every screen, every device blank. Then a simple message appeared. The path has been rewritten. Humanity is now off script. Lucas woke up in Selene's arms. She was crying. You did it, she whispered. They're gone. Commander Kara entered. Eyes wide, the gate closed. The energy readings are flat. It's like they never existed. Lucas sat up. But we do. Kara looked around. They were gods, and we told them no. That night, the world didn't celebrate with fireworks. They looked at the sky in silence, knowing that somewhere out there, the ones who made everything had seen humanity stand up. Not with weapons, but with will. And the unthinkable happened. Humanity rewrote its fate. The end.